Southwest Florida's #1 primetime newscast. Fox 4 News at 10.
They sold me something that my dog could have never survived.
Dogs dying in the hands of airlines. What you can do to protect your pooch on your next flight.
Abuse or appropriate. A Florida police officer drags a woman across the ground. Why some say the video doesn't tell the whole story. Plus.
Do you find it creepy that there are guys from all over the world who are staring at you, judging you, deciding if they want to pay for you to get implants?
Stare all you want. What this Southwest Florida woman is telling us about getting free breast implants.
Storm Patrol Viper radar still showing the rain falling across much of Southwest Florida. So will it end before it turns into a wet weekend? Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Dishno.
I'm Patrick Nolan. Jim Sign in the Storm Patrol Center, where you get your weather first on Fox.
Well, we've been tracking the rain all night tonight, and it looked like we were getting a little bit of a break around dinner time. Then more rain developed in the Gulf of Mexico. This is why we have the power of 4, so we can track all that rain, even if it's 275 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. And look how a lot of these showers just kind of blossomed on top of us, 7, 8, 9 o'clock this evening. We'll zoom in, use our street level mapping. Charlotte County, you're probably going to get wet here in the next hour or so, but let's track that good cell. That right now is in South Lee County, moving up toward Lehigh. Lehigh, you're getting some good rain right now. That'll continue. Here's another cell that moved through Bonita Springs. That one is now moved up into South Lee County. And then there's more rain that's going to be affecting coastal Collier County here. As a matter of fact, I think from about North Naples down toward Marco, that rain probably getting heavier in the next half hour or so. And more showers are going to be moving in overnight tonight. Some areas, when you combine what fell yesterday and today, got over 2 inches of rain. However, we do have a drying trend to highlight and weekend warmth. We'll talk about that too. All coming up in a couple of minutes.
When the wind changes in the appropriate direction, you might notice the smell.
Cape Coral police following their noses, sniffing their way to this home where they say pot was being grown. Tonight, 4 in Your Corner is asking neighbors if they smelled anything fishy going on inside the house on East Gator Circle in Northeast Cape Coral. And guess who detectives say was paying the home's electric bills? You. As 4 in Your Corner's Gabrielle Serrano explains, the power was reportedly stolen from other LCEC customers.
There's a strong smell of burned wire here. That's because his home ran on thousands of kilowatts of stolen electricity. And it's a facade. Take a look. We have a home sweet home sign, a dog figurine, all before what appears to look like the home of a happy family.
The outside of the house is a cover. Potted plants next to colorful windmills, a rocking chair, even a welcoming Bless Our Home flag in front.
And that's all part of the illusion.
A mask for the more than 57 pounds of marijuana and $13,000 police seized inside. They raided the Gator Circle home in Cape Coral Wednesday and arrested Luisa Bato, shown here in her mugshot.
Oh no, that's my neighbor.
The drug bust makes Laura Perks nervous.
That totally surprises me. I had no idea anything like that was going on around here.
Officers say that's because the operation was under the radar.
The interior parts of the house were converted for the purpose of growing marijuana and for drying marijuana. And in those areas, you'll see actual foil insulation on the walls, fans that are set up.
All powered by stolen electricity. An LCEC worker made the discovery, but it was something else that gave it away.
When the wind changes in the appropriate direction, you might notice the smell.
Neighbors sure didn't, but now a pot bust on their street is changing the way they think.
Now I'm wondering if maybe we're a little bit naive. So I'm going to pay more attention and keep an eye out for the neighborhood.
And police say that's smart because grow houses are not uncommon in the Cape. They believe this one has ties to Miami and they're looking for other suspects. As for Luis Bato, bail is set at $36,000 and she bonded out. In Cape Coral, Gabrielle Serrano, Fox 4, in your corner.
And tonight, Cape Coral police are saying they've taken down another smaller pot growing operation. 28-year-old Neil Joyner is charged with producing and possessing marijuana with intent to sell and based in a home in Northwest 16th Place. Police say they found 4 pot plants in a closet along with lights, fans, timers, all used in the cultivation of pot.
Parents, do you have big dreams for your kids' sports career? So big, in fact, you're willing to move them to a different school that you think has a better sports program. Well, that freedom is about to end. 4 in Your Corner's Dave Culbreth talking to the new Lee County Superintendent of Schools, who's about to change some of the rules of the game. Dave?
Well, the reason is real. College ain't cheap. So if a parent thinks their kid's got a chance to get a college scholarship, whether it be football, baseball, band, or badminton, many parents will break the rules to get their kid into high school with the best program.
We've got coaches and principals out loud saying, I know that child transferred for sports.
Which is against Florida High School Athletic Association policy. And Dr. Nancy Graham says the district is going to be scrutinizing this more closely.
This is on everybody's radar. And our board...
It's a big problem, isn't it?
Well, it's a challenge.
As it is now, a student athlete can transfer to a new school every year.
That kids decide they don't like the coach, or kids decide they don't like a teacher. The way our plan is set up, they can move.
However, that's only to a school within the zone they live in. Students cannot transfer to a school outside the zone they live in unless they actually move to a new address.
We're going to have to get better at making people commit to why they're transferring.
But when people lie about their address, the question becomes, can they prove someone transferred for sports?
Well, absolutely. If you can prove someone doesn't live where they say they live, or you can prove that a child was offered, the moon if they came to this school.
A school can be punished. It can be stripped of a championship title and hit with six-figure fines. But no one at a school has ever been punished by the FHSAA.
They've got all kinds of sanctions.
But they don't sanction the principals, do they?
That's my role and responsibility, and I will tell you that the principals are very clear that the expectation is the rules will be followed.
That said, she says she's tired of hearing about it and wants people to start turning in the cheaters.
Nobody's doing anything except talking about it. Nobody wants to give us anything concrete, and then that causes division among the schools, and we can't afford to have that.
She also pointed out that this problem is not unique to Lee County or Florida for that matter. For example, in 2010, a high school in Miramar, which is near Fort Lauderdale, had all its sports programs suspended for 5 years, and was fined $260,000. Live, Dave Culberth, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you, Dave. What do you think about Lee County's decision to crack down on recruiting? Sound off when you call us at 206-FOX4 or email us news@fox4now.com.
The U.S. Senate voting to give you a little bit of a breather if you own property in a low-lying area or on the waterfront. Florida Democratic Senator Bill Nelson leading the charge to get his fellow senators to pass this bill that would delay hikes on your federal flood insurance premiums now that the federal government is cutting back on subsidizing the insurance for flood-prone properties.
Let's just get a real big vote here, and that will send a message to our colleagues in the House of Representatives that this is no fooling time.
Well, they did pass it in the Senate, but the Republican House Speaker John Boehner says he's not even going to allow a vote on the measure. The Tea Party is also against it. Do you want your reps to vote for or against delaying these flood insurance hikes? Call us 239-206-FOX4.
Fresh and focused after rehab, Trey Radel was insistent on going back to work for you in Washington. But just 3 days ago, that quest came to an end when Radel suddenly resigned from Congress. Tonight, close friends telling 4 in Your Corner's Warren Wright what led him to finally conclude it was time to go.
The second press conference after the rehab, I seen the old Trey. I felt good about that. I'm like, okay, he's back. And I truly felt that he was going to go back up there and fight for us just as much as he did before. He may wanted to do that, but the establishment didn't want him to do that.
Thank you, we did it!
Some of Radel's closest friends and supporters say Radel walked into a deep freeze once back on Capitol Hill. Fellow congressmen wanted little to do with him.
If I'm trying to drop new legislation, I certainly don't want Trey Radel's name on it as a co-sponsor.
It was the cold shoulder. People don't want to associate with somebody that's probably that has the bad record. Or going through an investigation.
His friends say they can only imagine how stressful those last few weeks in Washington were for Radel.
We've been trying to catch up with you to get some answers for your constituents. Is there anything you want to say?
He's got the media attacking him. He's got colleagues in the House and Senate, refusing to work with him on legislation, which ultimately leaves him, somewhat ineffective in the House and makes it difficult to get anything accomplished.
Trey's a smart enough guy to realize that, hey, you know what, I'm going to be ineffective. And so maybe it is better that I step down.
But Radel's staunchest supporters and allies say after Trey works on his health and cares for his family, he'll soon be back on solid ground, ready to launch Trey 2.0.
Sure, radio, TV, perhaps even a book.
But I see Trey coming back and doing something that's going to benefit Southwest Florida. He's not going to let this be his legacy.
Warren Wright, Fox 4, in your corner.
Rado's House of Representatives webpage has also been deactivated along with his Facebook page, and he hasn't posted on Twitter for nearly a month now. Free breast implants from a website?
What is your first reaction as a plastic surgeon when you look at this site?
Well, I was first actually horrified.
Horrifying or genius? We're showing you a Southwest Florida woman who's turning to strangers for free breast implants.
Slippery when wet, and we're not talking about the last story. That's what some Naples residents are saying about an upscale Southwest Florida shopping spot tonight, where the tile is causing some concern for shoppers. But first,
it mostly comes down to lack of care, lack of concern for a living being.
Dogs dying while in the care of the airlines? How you can make sure Fido arrives safely at his destination with you. Next.
A cloudy, wet day in Southwest Florida and more rain moving in tonight. We'll show you where the rain is going to be the heaviest. We'll take a look at some of those rainfall totals because we got over 2 inches in some communities. And we'll tell you when that good Florida sunshine is going to start to return. It's all coming up right here on Fox 4.
Live from Southwest Florida's news source. News with Patrick Nolan, Emily Dishno, and your Storm Patrol weather forecast with Jim Simon. This is Fox 4 News at 10.
A warning tonight for those of you thinking about taking your pet with you on an airplane. Every year, animals are lost, injured, some even die during air travel, leaving their owners wondering what went wrong. In this 4 in Your Corner special report, Sarah Belsel is breaking down the scary numbers for you.
Michael Jarbo's Neapolitan Mastiff Bam Bam never left his side.
They're probably the most stalkerish of any dog breed.
So when the South Florida man and his partner planned a summer trip to California in August of 2012, they bought a ticket for the 145-pound dog too. But during a layover in Houston, Michael noticed something was wrong.
He was standing up and his tongue was out and he was swaying back and forth, the hottest I've ever seen him.
Michael was worried, and when he landed in San Francisco, his worst fears came true.
The manager person, he came out with 4 other people. I stood up and he looked right at me and he said he didn't make it.
I did some research and found out Bam Bam was one of 29 pets that died during air travel in 2012. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, that same year, 26 pets were injured and 1 was lost. I dug even deeper and found out between 2008 and 2012, 261 pets were injured, lost, or died during air travel.
If it's not necessary to travel with your pet, don't do it.
Mary Beth Melchior is the founder and CEO of Where Is Jack, Inc., which advocates for safe travel for pets.
It mostly comes down to lack of care, lack of concern for a living being.
Bam Bam's necropsy says the almost 3-year-old dog died of acute cardiovascular collapse, and that his death was, quote, not related to United Airlines handling. But Michael says the dog was given a clean bill of health before flying and blames the airline.
They sold me something that had nothing to do and that my dog could have never survived.
Michael paid $650 each way for Bam Bam's ticket, but chose to fly United because it is the only airline that offers the Pet Safe program. The program's website promises climate-controlled vehicles in temperatures greater than 85 degrees, but Michael says Bam Bam was never put in the AC during their nearly 4-hour layover in Houston, where temperatures climbed well above 90 degrees.
It would have been more humane that morning if I had driven down to my vet and had him put to sleep.
When I asked United Airlines why Bam Bam didn't spend the layover in the AC, a spokesperson told me, quote, given his size and the fact that he is a brachycephalic breed, we made the decision to also bring him to our holding facility for greater comfort during his connection. United Airlines carries more than 110,000 pets annually. And when I looked at all of the reported pet incidents in the last 5 years, United reported the 4th most incidents, 24. Delta reported the most with 74, followed by Alaska Air with 45 and American with 39. And while the airlines insist air travel for pets is safe, Mary Beth and Michael say they will continue to push for change and educate others on the dangers of traveling with your pet.
Just don't do it.
United Airlines did compensate Michael for the death of Bam Bam, but the case is still under investigation. Airlines say it can take an investigation up to 5 years. If you're planning on traveling with your pet, just head over to fox4now.com. I've posted some tips to help make sure your pet arrives at your destination safely. Sarah Russell, Fox 4 in your corner.
A live look from our Zoom 10 Skycam, looking out at a cloudy evening at the marina at Cape Harbor. Those clouds are going to stay in place overnight tonight. Were you outside at all today? Maybe if you were lucky, you were able to spend the entire day inside. Today was a great nap day. Well, if you didn't get a chance to see the clouds earlier, this is the way it looked all afternoon. Cloudy with showers coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. You can see some of those showers passing over the buildings intermittently. That's going to be the case for us overnight again tonight. Matter of fact, I think that by tomorrow morning, the rain probably getting heavier again, but there is a drying trend in the forecast. Using the power of 4 to zoom in and use some of our street level mapping right now, here's some rain that's kind of interesting. Looks like it's going to pass just to the north of Port Charlotte. So Venice, Englewood, you're going to get some of that rain. Inland, we have some heavier showers, but we'll zoom in real close on a good shower that's on top of Lehigh. I don't have to tell you it's raining in Lehigh. You can probably hear it right now on the roof. Here's more rain moving up toward Lehigh Acres in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. Getting a little bit of a break right now in South Lee County, but some of us actually picked up over 2 inches of rain when you combine yesterday and today. Heaviest amounts were in Collier County. Here's a good shower that's moving up toward Estero. And then I want to focus on Collier County because right now, well, portions of coastal Collier County are dry. But look what's ahead for you, especially here. This is one, looks like it's moving right toward Naples here in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. So our forecast calls for more showers overnight tonight. 59 degrees going to be your temperature at 8 a.m. At noon, though, we're at 71, and by 5 o'clock, look at that, mostly dry with 76 degrees. A nice warming trend starting to develop for us tomorrow. It really gets into high gear over the weekend. Here's a look at the current surface map. We've had this kind of mid to upper level low in a cool front that's just to the south of us, actually more of a stationary front right now. That low kicking back a lot of moisture. As this system gradually pulls out over the next 24 hours, our weather is going to be improving. Here's a look at the computer models showing you the way it's going to look by 2 o'clock tomorrow, and we're going to cycle through it one more time for you. Here's more rain moving in the morning, but by 2 o'clock it looks like we're going to see improving weather, mainly cloudy skies in the afternoon then as we get to the, say, past 3 o'clock on Thursday, and then, or I should say on Friday, and then by the weekend, well, that's when our chance for rain is going to be going down significantly and our temperatures are going to be a lot warmer. So here's your Power 4 zone forecast for tomorrow. Scattered showers ending gradually for the inland zones. Lehigh, LaBelle, Palmdale, that includes you. Your high temperature actually in the upper 70s tomorrow. So some showers early morning through the later portion of the morning. By the early afternoon, though, they should be getting a little bit lighter. Harbor zones, cloudy skies, mainly morning showers for Northport, Port Charlotte, Englewood with a high temperature in the upper 70s. Coastal zones, 78 to 80 degrees for your high temperature. Scattered showers should be ending by the early to mid-afternoon. And on the beaches will be anywhere from 74 to 76 degrees. Morning showers for the beaches, but we gradually start to clear off a little bit close to the coast. Not a lot of sunshine, but maybe a peak or two by about 5 o'clock. Forecast for the boaters calling for northerly wind at 10 knots. 64 degrees our Gulf of Mexico temperature. That's keeping the temperature on the beaches down just a little bit. Let's focus on a nice weekend because, boy, it gets warm real quick. 84 Saturday, 85 Sunday with our winds becoming more south to southeasterly. That's why the temperatures get well into the 80s. We stay in the 80s and mainly dry through Wednesday. By Thursday, some scattered showers coming back into the forecast. But it really looks like our high temperatures are going to stay in the 80s, not only through next week, but through next weekend, too. How about that for a favorite photo? That is a painted bunting sent in to icontribute@fox4now.com. I thought it was a robin at first, but you can tell that obviously a lot more color there with that bird. Anytime you have a favorite photo that you want us to share on the news, send it to icontribute@fox4now.com. We'll feature it right here at 10 and 11 o'clock. At the Big Red 4, fox4now.com, you give us your email address and hit sign up, and we'll deliver a personalized forecast to your inbox every day. Personalized for your neighborhood. If you're a fan of the weather and can't get enough, well, give us your email address at the Big Red 4, fox4now.com.
He was busted for booze, but still ahead. Find out what else Justin Bieber had in his system the night he was arrested in Miami.
But first, shock and awe over surveillance video of a police officer and a woman in cuffs. What he did that has so many in an uproar tonight. That's next.
We want your take on Facebook on this just released video showing a Tampa police officer dragging a woman across a parking lot. The officer has been reprimanded for how he handled the arrest of this homeless woman on drug and obstruction charges. She was taken out of the car, and after her feet were untied, she refused to walk. So the officer then drags her inside. And we want to know, do you think the officer's actions were abusive or appropriate? You can talk to us on Facebook.com/Fox4Now.
Pushing to ban big snakes, not only in Florida, but nationwide. Why getting rid of the reptiles could end up costing you millions. But first,
I wish I could be back to that post-pregnancy body and feel good about myself.
major plastic surgery for free. How one Southwest Florida girl is getting a boob job paid for by complete strangers. And you can too. Next.
Nip and tuck, and it won't cost you a buck. Thousands of women now turning to the internet, hoping to woo someone like you to pay for their plastic surgery. 4 in Your Corner's Kelly Stegeman asking a Southwest Florida woman why she seems willing to put the future of her health and happiness in the hands of strangers.
Patrick, this Naples mom says the site may sound creepy, and while it does have its fair share of people who may not have the best intentions, she says there are plenty of others with a helping hand she hopes will help rack up support.
No, I work 2 jobs actually.
18-month-old Skylar is trouble for his young mom's body.
I'm back in my shape from before pregnancy, but there's no diet and exercise that can fix stretched skin.
23-year-old Elaine Neal is looking to complete strangers on myfreeimplants.com for a boost to her bust.
So you're not looking for double Ds?
No, no. Basically just, I would say just like a normal size. This would be my goal, and this is what I'm at.
The site allows women to create a profile asking donors to pay for their plastic surgery.
There are going to be people out there who say, "You are beautiful. This is crazy. What are you doing?" What do you say to them?
I mean, underneath it all, everyone has their, issues there between, scars, stretch marks, whatever, and things that they wish they could get fixed. And if you have a free alternative, why not?
Elaine's goal is $10,000. As a single mom who works 2 jobs, new breasts are a luxury.
What is your first reaction as a plastic surgeon when you look at this site?
Well, I was first actually horrified.
To Dr. Kent Hayson, the site was something new.
Then looking further into it, there was, some good that I saw with that they were referring only to board-certified plastic surgeons, and that many of the people on there were trying to do it more for the right reasons.
Co-founder of the site, Jay Moore, tells me it started in 2005 with the goal of helping a friend. One success story has turned into 1,200.
It is a big, important procedure to a lot of these women, and that's why we keep the site operating.
How do you keep people from prostituting themselves on this site?
Well, a couple ways. Our terms of service obviously don't allow that sort of thing to go on.
Software on the site looks for violations of people sharing personal information.
Any of that kind of stuff will get you removed or suspended from the site.
Unlike others, Elaine only allows donors to see her face. She hopes her story means more than her body.
I don't want to get handouts from people, but it's essentially what I'm getting towards is more important, I think.
Elaine currently has about $25 donated. Once she meets her goal, the site will only send the funds to a board-certified plastic surgeon that she chooses. Right now, there are 3,000 to 4,000 other women hoping for the same outcome. From the studio, Kelly Stegeman, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, Kelly, now we want to know, what do you think about this website? You can call us at 239-206-FOX4 or email us at news@fox4now.com.
Slippery when wet. 3 words that shoppers at an upscale mall in Southwest Florida say should be posted everywhere. They say when it rains, the tiles at the waterside shops in Naples get so slippery that it's already led to several lawsuits. 4 in Your Corner's Emily Nelson is looking into their concerns tonight.
Walking around the waterside shops, a luxury mall in Naples, you wouldn't think to fear for your safety.
I went and I fell so hard, I can't even begin to tell you.
I spoke to a woman who took a nasty fall on the polished tile when walking out to her car after shopping. She declined to go on camera but shared her story, hoping to help others. Signs like these are posted at Waterside to help warn shoppers, but that might not be enough.
Something has to be done so that it is taken care of, so that people are not hurt.
She says Waterside offered her $100 to make amends for the incident that sent her to the hospital and caused her to endure months of recovery. But she's not looking for money.
What do you want to see happen from Waterside shops, from their perspective?
I don't want anything personally from them. I want them to rectify the situation so no one is hurt.
She's not the only one who has slipped and fell at Waterside. Several lawsuits have been filed against Waterside shops. I talked to a trial attorney who represented a man who slipped and fell in 2010.
My client slipped, he fell, he hit his head, suffered lacerations, had a concussion.
So his attorney launched an investigation to prove he did not slip because of his own negligence.
The tile or the material didn't have a traditional non-slip resistance, and so anytime there was even just a little bit of rain, it would create a really dangerous slippery situation.
So I reached out to Waterside shops to get their side of the story to see if anything can be done about the tile. After 2 calls and 2 emails, a representative promised to put me in touch with corporate, but I never heard back. In the meantime, when it's wet, this woman will be wary of Waterside.
The problem isn't rectified. The surface is still slippery. You still, I mean, I don't want, if it's raining, I'm not going to Waterside.
Emily Nelson, Fox 4, in your corner.
If you ever need 4 in your corner to go to work for you, please call or text us 206-FOX4 or send us an email to news@fox4now.com.
The gloves are off as the 2 biggest names in the governor's race fight to get your attention ahead of the November election. A new Quinnipiac poll showing former Governor Charlie Crist, now a Democrat, leading incumbent Republican Governor Rick Scott by 8 points. And they went at each other as they both spoke to reporters in Tallahassee today. Scott trying to peg Crist with the recession that started in his term.
Florida shed more than 800,000 jobs in the 4 years before I took office. Taxes increased, debt increased, and the unemployment rate rose to 11.4%, all while hundreds of thousands of Floridians lost their jobs. Florida was in a hole, and for 4 years, it just simply kept digging.
Charlie Crist coming out swinging too, going after Rick Scott's decision to plead the 5th when his old health care company that he headed got nailed for fraud.
Rick Scott has a record now as governor, but he also had a record in the private sector. And the record in the private sector is not a sterling one. And I'm going to talk about it. This is a guy who headed a company that ended up having to pay the largest fine for fraud in the history of the United States of America at the time.
Crist is not the only Democrat who wants a job. Former State Senator Nan Rich is also in the running.
Just 3 days after Trey Radel resigned from Congress in the wake of his cocaine conviction, another Republican is hoping to win the seat, and he's hoping to get your attention with this Super Bowl ad.
I'm Kirk Clausen. I'm challenging President Obama to a 3-point contest. Because, Mr. President, I know you're going to see this. My house or yours?
Kirk Clausen was a basketball star at Purdue University. He's one of 4 Republicans, in addition to Democrat April Freeman and Libertarian Ray Netherwood, who are campaigning to win the now vacant seat in a special upcoming election.
Your early morning commute could be affected by more road closures on I-75. Starting on Monday night at 11, the interstate's going to be closed from Alico Road to Daniels Parkway until 5 in the morning on Tuesday. Crews are going to be out there all week during those hours installing some bridge beams. The project will connect I-75 to Southwest Florida International Airport, and it's expected to be done in spring of next year.
Another wet evening and wet morning for you in Southwest Florida as more rain is moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. We expect to be a bit drier by tomorrow afternoon. Look at these rainfall totals, though, that include yesterday and today. Over 2 inches of rain in Naples, nearly 2 inches in Immokalee, about 1.5 inches in LaBelle. In Cape Coral, right at the base of the Midpoint Bridge, about 1 inch of rain there. About 1 inch at the Sanibel Causeway, 1.5 inches in Lehigh Acres, and it's still raining in Lehigh. Our buddy Craig at Old Hickory calling in with about 1.75 inches of rain. That's located real close to Daniels and I-75. We'll look at your weekend coming up shortly.
Looks like the Biebs had more than just booze in his system the night of his DUI arrest in Miami Beach. According to police, Justin Bieber tested positive for marijuana and the prescription drug Xanax. No word on if Bieber has a prescription for the Xanax. He's charged with drunken driving, resisting arrest, and driving with an expired license in Miami. Meanwhile, President Obama now has to address a petition that's reached his desk calling for Justin Bieber's deportation to Canada. But as Four Corners' Miriam Zamorano tells us, not everyone wants to see Bieber fever go.
More than 100,000 people have signed the petition on whitehouse.gov asking the government to deport Canadian-born Justin Bieber. The petition saying Bieber is, quote, threatening the safety of our people and a terrible influence on our nation's youth, end quote. Ivy from Cape Coral calling in saying she wouldn't mind seeing the 19-year-old head back north.
He's a bad influence to our kids in here, and he has no business doing whatever he wants in the United States.
The outrage stems from his recent arrest in Miami Beach. He's facing charges of DUI, resisting arrest, and driving with an expired license, in which he pleaded not guilty.
Any foreign national in his circumstances will have problems getting his visa renewed.
Local immigration attorney Ricardo Scarrett saying it's not just deportation he needs to worry about. Mary from Fort Myers thinking either way, the pop sensation is on his last note in the U.S.
If he doesn't want to follow our laws and our rules, then yes, he should go back.
Gina is one of hundreds responding on Facebook. She asks why. Because he's made some bad choices in his life? He doesn't need deportation, he just needs guidance, and deportation is not the way to handle this young man. And Mary posting, I can think of a lot more that need to be deported than the Bieb. Miriam Zamorano, Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, now it's your turn. Should President Obama deport the Biebs? Tell us what you think. Call us 206-FOX4 or email us news@fox4now.com.
Sasha and Malia could be unhappy if it happens, though. That's his target audience. Tomorrow at 10, a 4 in Your Corner special report. More and more families taking a different approach to burying their loved ones, doing it without a coffin.
My dad really wanted a shroud because that was the quickest way to become part of the earth again.
It's not just about living green anymore. These days, more people want to die green, too. They're insisting they be put out to pasture, literally, in places like this prairie, instead of more traditional methods.
Everything else seems to be taking up space, but then a friend of ours told us that you're polluting when you're cremated.
See what's driving this eco-burial trend and the natural option you may not know about in Florida tomorrow night on Fox 4 News at 10.
Target is one step closer to finding out how scammers got access to millions of credit card holders' information, all with a simple signature. What you need to know coming up.
Breakthrough discovery, how deadly diseases could soon be cured using just special cells. But first,
once they get big, they can be a handful for one individual, no matter how big you are.
Banning big snakes, why Southwest Florida officials want to get rid of several species of reptiles, and why it could cost you millions. Next.
Supersized snake ban. Democrat and Republican lawmakers who represent you in Washington now want the Obama administration to put a nationwide ban on more species of exotic snakes blamed for destroying Florida's delicate ecosystem. 4 in Your Corner's Christy Diamond, though, showing you why critics say the ban could cost you millions.
Love them?
She's nice, isn't she?
Or loathe them. 5 species of big snakes like these could soon be on a nationwide ban list.
Once they get big, they can be a handful for one individual, no matter how big you are.
Steve Masick takes care of dozens of snakes at the Calusa Nature Center.
When they get you good.
And for him, they're family.
Ivy is my good girl.
But in this letter to the Obama administration, 18 congressmen call the reptiles anything but family, saying they pose an unacceptable and preventable risk to your safety.
We can adapt.
Congressman Tom Rooney sent a statement saying banning the snakes is critical to the survival of the Everglades and surrounding ecosystems.
They are very strong.
But snake advocates like Masick say the ban is a bad idea.
People are always going to have them illegal anyway, so now all you're doing is just making people go underground with them.
Reptiles like this make up a multi-million-dollar industry, and reptile experts say a ban on them could be devastating.
The U.S. Association of Reptile Keepers says there's no need for a nationwide ban on these snakes.
These animals have been held in the pet trade for decades in this country, and why all of a sudden there is some sense of urgency is a bit of a mystery to us.
They are a powerful animal.
For Masick, he believes the answer isn't banning the snakes, but educating people who are looking to buy one.
A lot of times it's just uneducated people that don't understand. You know, you buy a snake like this as a baby in a pet store, they don't hang on to the big ones at the pet store.
Christy Diamond, Fox 4 in your corner.
And you can see all 5 species that the congressmen want banned right now when you go to fox4now.com. And while you're on the site, won't you please let us know what you think about the idea of this ban, or call us 239-206-FOX4.
We may finally know how scammers got a hold of sensitive Target customer data. The retailer saying hackers breached its systems by using electronic credentials stolen from a vendor. The hackers then planted malware to rip off 40 million credit and debit card numbers. The FBI says Target isn't the first store to get hit with a sophisticated threat. Around 20 other cyber attacks have been credited to the same scam over the past year.
Tracking medical news, a breakthrough that could save your life. Researchers say they've now found a way to make new stem cells by putting mature cells under stress. Stem cells can be used to help treat life-threatening diseases and may one day actually help people regrow limbs, organs, and other tissues damaged by disease and injury.
All right, well, if there's any good news, it's the fact that on Monday we told you Wednesday and Thursday were going to be our rainy days. Looks like this rain is going to be leaving us just in time to salvage a very nice weekend, especially Sunday. Using the power of 4 right now to show you that rain that's been moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. Just when it seems like we're getting a break from the rain, more of these showers develop, and I'm going to show you why that is here in just a minute. Here's an area of rain, as I said about a half hour ago. It looks like that's passing just to the north of Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Nice line of showers moving in. Moving toward LaBelle right now. We'll zoom in a little bit closer and show you that heavier rain using our street level mapping. Lehigh Acres, you've seen the rain off and on here for a while. Another shower that's going to be passing just over southern Lehigh here in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. LaBelle, you're getting a little bit of a break, but it's probably going to start raining again after about 11 o'clock or so. Bonita Springs, more rain for you, as well as North Naples. We picked up over 2 inches of rain yesterday and today, right in downtown Naples, and more showers that look like they're going to affect Marco Island probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. More rain expected to develop overnight tonight. So here's your day part forecast. It includes scattered showers at 8 a.m., scattered showers at noon, and then finally by 5 o'clock, looks like things are going to be mainly dry in southwest Florida. We've had a front to the south of us here over the last 24 hours or so. It's actually kind of become stationary, but we've had this mid to upper level low, and you can see how that low is helping to draw a lot of this moisture into southwest Florida, even on the backside of that low. Here it's all coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. Tomorrow, as that low starts to exit, we're actually going to start to see some warmer air move into southwest Florida as our winds become southeasterly. But look at the computer models as we go into tomorrow morning. Bingo, one more batch of really good rain. Pausing things here at about 2 o'clock when things look like they're going to be mainly dry. Here's what's left of that front, actually kind of dissipating and drifting to the north. Winds becoming southeasterly by Saturday. That's when the warming trend really kicks in. Might pick up on 1 or 2 inland showers on Saturday, but it looks like it's going to be a mainly dry weekend and much warmer. Power 4 zone forecast. Starting with the inland zone, scattered showers ending gradually. 78 to 80 degrees, the high temperature for Lehigh, Lakeport, Arcadia, Golden Gate Estates. Now on the harbor zones, you're going to have cloudy skies, mainly morning showers and a mainly dry afternoon. Northerly winds at 5 to 10 for the harbor zones. Coastal zones, scattered showers ending by the early to mid-afternoon, 78 to 80 degrees, the high temperature in the coastal zones. And on the beaches, you will be a little bit cooler thanks to the cooler Gulf. Morning showers for you, and we may actually clear off just a little bit on the beaches by 4 or 5 o'clock. Forecast for the boaters, northerly winds at 10 knots, those winds becoming more south to southeasterly by the weekend. Mainly dry on Saturday, could have that isolated shower, but I'm really going to downplay it because after 2 inches of rain, who cares about a 5-minute shower? 84 Saturday, 85 Sunday. Look at those morning temperatures, mid-60s. Actually a little bit humid over the weekend, but great beach weather. Mainly dry through Wednesday, and then some scattered showers in the forecast on Thursday, but it doesn't look like we have a big cool down. Looks like we're going to stay warmer than normal all the way through next weekend. Our Zoom 10 Sky Cam. We have a network of cameras all across southwest Florida. You can look at them anytime. All you have to do is go to the Big Red 4, fox4now.com. It's a great thing to send to your friends up north and let them check out the beach here in southwest Florida. Go to the Big Red 4, fox4now.com.
New term here, tweeting with an attitude, twatitude. I
like
made
that.
this up.
I like that.
Why a Kardashian is doing it about a fellow plane passenger tonight.
But first, want to learn how to be like Beyonce, where you can take a whole class dedicated to studying the singer. Next.
Can't get enough of Beyonce? Just sign up for a new class at Rutgers University. The New Jersey college actually offering a class called Politicizing Beyonce. It explores her career and analyzes her music, videos, and lyrics in our culture. The class creator says it's really designed to get students to think more critically about media consumption.
Kourtney Kardashian is at it again. The reality star taking to Twitter to lash out at fellow airline passengers. On a flight back from a Mexico vacation, Kardashian tweeted, quote, "People on airplanes are so wild these days, telling other people's children to cover their mouths. Cover your mouth." So far, we don't know if the people in question were talking to one of Kourt's kids or some other tykes. All up for debate. All new next. You can call her Mother of the Year.
My mind was going everywhere. I was like, no. I was like, I need a paramedic. I was like, I need somebody.
The miraculous thing she did all on her own that no woman would ever want to attempt.
A driver's life hanging in the balance as the truck teeters on the edge. The shocking way this cliffhanger ends. Plus.
Never in my wildest dream. First time I've ever been stranded. And then he came pick me up.
A father gets a helicopter rescue that saves his life, but it was who was with the crew that really shocked him. All new next at 11.